Memphis, Tennessee, August 16, 1977. In 1977, John Stavsky, a carpenter in his 70s, and his coworker Louis Parker were driving in Stavsky's gray 1960 Ford F-100 pickup truck outside of Memphis, Texas. The photograph is what they saw on that day. The photograph was taken by Mr. Louis Parker. The following is an extract of Mr. Stavsky's call to the local radio station from a phone booth southwest of Memphis on August 16, 1977. No, I was in my pickup truck and I'm telling you there was a huge iron ball, the size of a house in the middle of the road. The radio show host, thinking it was some kind of a joke, wanted to end the conversation. But Stavsky was pressing on. I don't know what is it, but it's damn scary, I tell you. It could be the Russians or some kind of Martians. Sure it could. Well, thank you for the call, commented the radio host, and ended the call. This frustrated greatly Mr. Stavsky, as he was not taken seriously, so he went on to contact the local police station again, with no success, as he was kept on hold for an entire hour. Frustrated, he ended the call. It is only later in the day that he heard on the radio the news that Elvis Presley had died, and all the media and the police were busy taking calls and running that story. According to Mr. Parker, Stavsky decided to contact the local newspaper. The following is an extract of the letter sent to the Houston Chronicle. It was about 8:30 in the morning, and my buddy Louis and I were heading towards Pisgah Heights. About some 5 miles or so from Pisgah Heights, just as the road straightens up, a huge ball appeared some 200 feet from the car. What the fuck is this? Yelled Louis. It was a large and dark gray metallic looking ball. It was roughly the size of a house. I stopped the car and we sat in silence for a few seconds. Then Louis grabbed his camera and took a photograph through the windshield. We always take a camera with us because we take pictures of the work we perform for our clients. Louis then got out of the car and took a few more photographs, about 10 feet from the car. As soon as Louis was back in the car, I made a U-turn and sped off back towards Memphis. I kept looking into the rear window to see if this thing was following us, but it wasn't. It just stood motionless. Dear sir, I don't know what the thing was, but I am as hell sure it wasn't from this earth, and may God be my witness. I am enclosing 3 photographs taken by my colleague Mr. Louis Parker from Memphis. The story was never published. It might be that the concerned persons never got the letter, or that they simply ignored it. It is important to note that Mr. Stavsky also enclosed the photographs that Mr. Parker made while outside of the car. The only surviving photograph is the one taken through the windshield. It may well be that the news of Elvis Presley's death obscured any other news on that day. Also, it is interesting that Mr. Stavsky hasn't mentioned the other smaller object that appears in the photograph. Mr. Parker passed away from a cardiac arrest 2 months later. He was 29 years old. Mr. Stavsky died in 2016. The information regarding the event and the photograph were provided by his family.